Fortnite, you're going to be speaking to me with a little more reverence and respect than you did prior to this.
If I try to play beyond the hype.
How come I'm getting like Fisher Price questions?
Guys,
Hey, what's your favorite color?
I am.
Welcome, everybody, to the Supply Drop Podcast. I'm your host, Scott, filling in for Nate, and today we are going to talk about Sony's State of Play, Nintendo Direct, obviously, along with iPhone 15 getting console games, and what we are playing. Yeah. But I also have with me Thick, and Thick, I have a question for you real quick.
Oh, great.
Yeah, if there was a 20% chance of you consuming fried squid replaced with pig anus, but you couldn't tell the difference, would it matter?
Probably not if it tastes the same, right? Like,
Right.
Ignorance is kind of bliss.
I know. I mean, if people can't tell the difference, then why are we not just ordering pig anus, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
What do you call it? Have you had what was it, Rocky
cheaper.
Mountain
Oysters?
Oysters? Yeah.
No.
No?
No. Have you?
There's an inside joke in the family about it,
Yeah.
and I've never had it. Like they were doing this on a trip without me one day, and it was just like they kept talking about it, and it's been an ongoing joke.
Yeah. I haven't tried those. Not that those are kind of like a dare. I would probably try them on a dare because I typically eat anything, but no, I don't purposely go in any restaurant and go, excuse me, do you have Smoky Mountain oysters? I want 12 of them.
Yeah.
So no.
So have you had that pig anus then?
I don't know. See, that's it.
You don't know.
I mean, they have been replacing fried squid with pig anus because it's a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And then there was this was a while back. They did this big thing, and then now there's showing reports of that's not squid. So there's a 20% chance that if you have had fried squid, that it was not fried squid at all. So
well, I think that will be bad for certain people that cannot eat pork. So
right.
Yeah.
Or don't eat for religious reasons. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't know, you don't know. It's not on you. All right.
It's about intent. Yeah.
It's about intent, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing this week. Why don't you go ahead and go? Because mine's probably pretty short.
I mean, I feel like mine's pretty short too. I said I would play a lot of racing games this week, and I did.
Okay.
I didn't play the one that I said I would yet, which is Motor Fest.
Yeah.
Which this week they have a very generous trial. Ubisoft released a 5-hour demo just this weekend that you could play the game, everything in the game, and whenever it's done, you could buy the game or whatever, right? So they're really trying to promote the game. I guess they know it's also a very busy season, right? But I've yet to play it. I played the beta, so I'm looking forward to it. But for some reason, I decided to play The Crew 2. Because I got it for like $7 on Xbox, and I like the whole like the 4 kind of vehicle idea. They kind of did that idea for Riders Republic as well. 4 different sports.
Yeah.
But I agree with a lot of people. The handling, especially coming back from other games like Horizon. The handling is really it's not that great in The Crew 2, which I know they definitely improved in Motorfest. That's why I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get around to playing it. But I might actually get like a month of Ubisoft Plus so I can play that, and then also Mirage is coming out next month, I believe, like in 2-3 weeks. So try to get both of those in.
Yeah.
Now I did play a couple other games. This week I played also Dirt 5, another racing game. But the thing I would just take away from Dirt 5 is the AI is really annoying and the physics is kind of infuriating.
The physics are a little off on that one. Yeah. Those are my games. I mean, I love rally racing. As far as racing games, I like Forza, but when you talk about rally stuff, that's what I go to.
Have you played WRC, that series?
I have. I couldn't tell you which one. I want to say it was WRC 6.
They're very similar, right?
Yeah,
they are.
There was one on Xbox One. I think that was 6. It seems like that, and it was okay. But it's kind of like, you've got Dirt where the physics seem to be a little off, and then, the controls are a little bit off. But then WRC, it seemed like the physics were really good, the controls were really good, but everything else just was kind of lackluster.
Yeah, I could see what you mean.
But
yeah, I was playing this on cloud actually because Luna.
Ooh,
actually,
really?
if you have Amazon Prime, you get to play WRC Generations for free, and it's pretty responsive for cloud. Assuming your connection is good, right? What I do notice with that game is like it's, you're just driving down a straight or like a very narrow road. There's only so much room for error, and then it tells you every turn, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciated that sort of challenge to it, but it was a little tough. Might need to try it on like download it on console. Maybe I know they have a new WRC coming soon from EA. It's actually like I think a new engine, but yeah, I might give that a try if they have a trial on EA Play or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you've got just like a little bit of lag in that play, then that can really mess you up.
Okay.
Yeah. My favorites were always the Colin McRae's from the earlier time. The Xbox,
yeah, I remember
Xbox One, Xbox 360s. Those were really good. I really like those, and even Rally Sport Champions. It was Rally Sport. Rally Sport. It was a first party for Xbox. Do you remember which one? Rally Sport something.
That doesn't ring a bell. Or are we talking about original Xbox or Xbox?
Yeah, it was original Xbox. I don't know. I have to look it up. But that one was good, but it wasn't as good as the Colin McRae series. I think Codemasters made that, and that's they went on to they make Dirt, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's the team that makes Dirt. So anyway, but yeah, I love that stuff. Anything else?
I played a little bit of the Halo Infinite campaign a little bit more.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. It was
you
just
should try co-op. I'm your guy.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it's set up for co-op, definitely. The level I played, I don't remember the name of it. I think it was like excavation or something, where like you're trying to sabotage the mining laser.
Yeah.
What I do notice that like if you try to compare it to the other games, that it's not like this kind of roller coaster. It's more like open-ended Far Cry level, which I'm fine with. But I could see where some people might be disappointed. Yeah, I like it. Like I think they set up some of the engagements between each like little phases of that level pretty well. Like one, like there's a lot of snipers focused on you, and then one there's a lot of like brutes just on the floor being aggressive on you. So I think they did a good job with that level.
Yeah, I really do too. I was playing that the other day, thinking how going from a linear, style of gameplay for a first-person shooter going to open world, it usually fails. When you've got an established IP like that. But I think they did a really good job because, like, when you go into areas that are much like when after you hope I don't spoil anything, but after you damage the laser and then go down into the ring, then it's linear. It's not. It's open, but it feels more like original Halo.
Okay, so maybe I got to get to that.
Yeah,
then.
So when you do those kind of levels, like when you go in and you're set into, okay, we got to do this, then it feels more like Halo. And then when you get done, you kind of pop out at the end, and then it's open world again. So it's very refreshing to have a game, even just an open world action game that's like, here's the open world, here's you can do anything, but then it's really focused, and then it lets you loose again, and then it's focused again. I think that makes the whole game itself feel a little less Far Cry, where it's like, you don't continue the story until you go talk to Gator Joe or whatever, and then he's like, oh, okay, well, you got to go do that. It's not like that at all. You kind of like start a mission, and then you got to see it through. Okay. So, yeah, I tell anybody's like, why would I play Halo Infinite? That's why you would play Halo Infinite. It's just fun. Games used to be fun. It's not about the loot. It's not about let's do this thing 500 times so we get this rocket launcher. No, just go have fun with it.
Yeah, I do. I do think like just the gameplay's still overall fun. So
Yeah, yeah. It's got that Halo gameplay loop that I think 5 was missing, and 4 was, kind of a couple inches away from it. But I hate that the guys that did the campaign, a lot of them got, laid off earlier, and I hate that because I think they did a fantastic job. But that's not something we can control.
yeah,
So that's a lot of games. You
That's
played
it.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I played a lot, but I didn't play it long enough to really
Yeah.
get like a taste of everything, right? So,
Yeah, I got you.
and I'll say that I did play Starfield, but I mean, I think we know our opinion on that
Yeah,
right
I mean
now.
that's going to be a continuation of my opening of what I played this week was
Yeah.
I played Starfield and I also played whatever, but I did get a chance to play Jedi Survivor after the new patch. There's like a patch 7 on PC, and I did notice that although the console version's got a hefty resolution upgrade and frame rate upgrade, the PC version got minimal. It's still,
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's better. It is better. I would say it's good enough now that if you were waiting to play this game on PC for it to be in a better position, now would be a good time to play it. Just keep your expectations at, you're not going to be playing at 4K at, 100 frames per second. I mean, you're just not. But I noticed a little bit of the jank and a little bit of the traversal that was, some of the animations were off here and there are now gone, and everything feels a lot smoother. Plus, even though I'm not getting those frame rates that I want out of an Unreal 4 engine, it's consistent. It's a lot more consistent. So if you're getting like 45 to 50 in these larger areas, it's not dropping to 20. And then you turn around and it goes to 80, and it's much more consistent.
That's good.
Yeah,
Just a better minimum frame rate. Right?
Yeah,
So.
your brain kind of fits into that frame rate. It's like when you go back and you play something at 30 frames per second, you're like, oh god, this is awful. In about an hour, you don't even think about it anymore, honestly, until you go play something again that's 60. So yeah, it is in a better position. What's 5 months later? It's and it makes you think like maybe I should have waited to play Starfield, but we'll see. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Yeah. But I did also play a little bit, and not really much to go into, but I played a little bit of Immortals of Avium.
Oh, you did?
I did. I played the opening like tutorial kind of setup for the story, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I liked the setup, the setting, the character, the people you're interacting with. It's very cinematic. It goes into, you get to a certain point and it goes into credits, and it's just like Marvel credits. Like it's got this slow motion 3D animation of the characters, and then it's got it's the actors' names. It's like, okay, here's who's making it, here's the publisher, and then they show the cast names, which is really cool. I mean, everybody knows I'm a huge fan of voice actors. You see all of their names, and then it says directed by, and it shows the director, and then you're back in the game, and it continues it.
Okay.
So it's that's good. It's very cinematic in that way, and the gameplay so far it's kind of like Hogwarts Legacy, where when you see the gameplay and you see the combat, it's like that looks boring as hell. That looks like not anything I want to play. But when you play it, it's a lot different. You're constantly making these little micro decisions based on what magic you're using and what enemy you have, and jumping around and moving around is feels pretty good after I spent about 15 minutes with the settings. So yeah, I mean it's again the studio just got, I think they laid off a bunch of people there too.
I was about to say, right?
I hate to say that, yeah, but maybe that's not. I don't know. I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and I'll talk about it next week after I've taken a bigger bite out of it. But right now,
I know,
it seems
Scott,
cool.
you originally were not too interested in this, right?
No,
like
no,
I
I
think
called it Particle Effects the game. It
the
just
yeah,
doesn't.
particle effect vomit.
Right. Yeah. It just
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
like too much, going on. But again, when you're playing it, it's not really what is going on. I mean, your perception of it, of
Okay.
course, is going to be different.
And I guess they didn't advertise it very well either. I feel like they over advertised it in some ways to
Yeah.
where it was a little bit fatiguing, kind of almost like Forspoken.
I think if they had, you know how Sony advertises their games and they show
Yeah.
like very little gameplay, but they show a lot of they show how cinematic it is, right?
Yeah.
Like go back and look at the first trailer for The Last of Us 2. There was hardly any gameplay in it at all, but you saw
Yeah.
these characters interacting with one another and how well
Yeah.
that looked. If they had leaned more into that and shown less of like somebody walking around with their right arm stuck in front of their face, I think that it might have done a little bit better. But
Okay.
but that's just me. That's my armchair ad executive take on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much it. Yeah, that's all I really had time for this week. And I played
All right.
Starfield, of course, played a bunch of that. Still enjoying that. There's a new patch that NVIDIA
DLSS,
released.
right?
Well, we're going to talk about that later. But with the new patch,
Okay.
it fixed a couple of things, and then I got a little bit of a frame rate bump with the new NVIDIA drivers. Not a lot, but enough to maybe notice a little bit. But still, I'm still enjoying it. Still looks good. Still plays good. Haven't had any, major bugs or anything.
Yeah. I turned off was the resolution scaling. I just
Yeah.
don't think I need it. Like I'm okay with like some instability because I have VRR, right?
Yeah.
But like sometimes I forget whether I'm playing it on PC because I also have my Series S hooked up to the same monitor.
Yeah,
So
me
sometimes
too. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. Sometimes it's like, why is this button bringing up my? Oh, it's the wrong one. Or that might be a me thing. I don't know. But anyway, all right. Well, you want to get into the news because we got
let's look at the comments. We do have a comment this
we
week.
do. Okay.
We
well,
do
let's take
have
a
a
look at
comment
it. I almost forgot.
from
Thanks.
yeah. Let's see. Our comment is from Mila again.
Oh, okay.
Basically they asked. Well, I'll quote their comment. The man who invented the Segway scooter, Jimmy Heselden, said one day cities would be built around his device, and it's looking like he will certainly be correct. I'd like to get one future prediction out of each of you. It does not have to be gaming related, but you get bonus points if it is.
A future prediction.
Yeah.
This reminds me, before we go further, last week you asked me what my what my news outlet was. And when you said that, I heard gaming news outlet. So I said Blues News. But then later when I thought about it and I listened to it, I was like, no, it still stands. It's still Blue News.
There you go.
Yeah, I still get my news from there. So with that in mind, I'm going to predict that, and then this is gaming related.
Okay.
This is what I think about more, mostly. Yeah, I'm going to say probably within the next 10 years that console sales will be greatly diminished. And there will be other devices or other ways to play games that will be more popular, via mobile or PC or something else.
This sounds in line with some of the news potentially this
Maybe.
week, so,
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that's, sitting in front of a giant TV may be going away. Okay. What's yours?
Yeah. I'll do non-gaming related just for fun.
Please do.
So this is about cars. And
Okay.
I think in the future, cars will be very hackable. Like you'll be able to jailbreak your car, and it's going to cause a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause
Cyberpunk-ish stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we already kind of see that. I don't know if you've heard this news. There's this thing online where people are using a USB key to break into Kia and Hyundais to basically steal them. So like it's already kind of happening in some ways. but I feel like because people keep releasing these cars with like these kind of proprietary systems, and then they move on to the next thing and to the next thing. These older systems are just going to get outdated and unsecure. So it's going to happen a lot more.
So you're saying it's kind of like Windows. It's kind of like Windows 10, doesn't get support anymore. So at some point, if you're using it, people are going to be like, oh, well, you're super easy to hack and get into and steal your information.
Yeah. So I'm very big into technology, but I know with like this thing, I want my car to just work, right? I don't need a fancy computer on it if I could just plug my phone into it, which can change,
Right.
Like I'd rather it be like kind of like a dummy for my phone,
That's a really good idea. That way it's not the car that you have to upgrade, it's just the phone.
Yeah.
Or the chip in your arm, or whatever it's going to be.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, let me text somebody. Who knows? That's a way better prediction than mine. And even, if it was even a little darker.
It's a little dark. I have plenty of dark ones just because I think about like how technology is going to affect a lot of things.
I don't know, honey. I don't know how I ended up at Hooters. Somebody hacked my car.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's get into it. Do you want to talk about these showcases?
Yeah.
Do we?
Let's do we?
Do we want to talk about
I mean, yeah. So basically, what day was it? Was it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Or Thursday?
I think it was Wednesday. Yeah.
Let's see.
September. That was the 14th. When was the 14th?
Yeah, that's Thursday. Actually.
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, Nintendo had a direct, and Sony also had a direct, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have their state of play. That's what they call it.
Right.
I mean, to really kind of go over it, I mean, let's go over what they kind of presented, right? Well, we'll start with Nintendo first because they did it early in the morning, which I actually appreciate because then I can kind of watch it on my commute or listen to it on my commute.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would highlight the biggest games in this is probably the announcement of remakes. Like there's not much like of anything else. There's like a remake of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, Super Mario RPG. So I mean, if you're not an RPG or a Super Mario fan, it seems like there's not much here for you. And then like a lot of the other things are like you said, was it Unicorn or something?
What was it?
Well, okay, let's just try to go over the list, right?
Yeah, because it was. I mean, for me, just on a personal note, where I am in my gaming life, I guess I didn't see really one thing that interests me. There's nothing there selling me on Nintendo. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, okay. I could see that.
What do you want to start
I definitely saw this, and like I was like, there's nothing here Scott would be interested in, but we still got to talk about it.
Yeah.
I still like a lot of Nintendo stuff, but sometimes they get a little bit tiring to me. Let's see. I guess the way my takeaway from this really is that this is kind of like do you know what I mean by filler episode? Like this is, this feels
it's like the quiet before the storm. This is yes, we're still doing stuff. Yes, your Switch is still viable. Yes, please go buy one. Yes, look. Yeah. That's what this looks like to me. This looks like we still have stuff. It's cool. Just keep looking at this stuff while we work on the Switch 2 that will be, presented several days after you buy a new Switch. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, let me just go over the list. There's a new, what do you call it? What's the name of this game? The Mario versus Donkey Kong. It's like a 2D kind of like you guide your Mario character. It was popular on 3DS. This is really kind of like a 3DS sequel. So that's kind of what you're getting. They showed more of the Prince of Persia, which I'm interested in this one still. It looks good. They showed this Horizon Chase 2, which was a Game Pass game if I recall, but it's just kind of like a really arcade racer. I might give it a try because I like the Hot Wheel one, and like some of these smaller scale games sometimes will surprise you when it comes to racing.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that there's more racers on the Switch because that's one genre that can really show off the graphics of a console, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be fun.
Yeah, I agree. There's this rhythm game from Konami, and Konami still makes games called Super Crazy Rhythm Castle. Uh, Not a fan of the name, but it looks like it'd be kind of fun with like
No.
my niece and nephew.
Yeah.
There's what was it? Yeah, Super Mario RPG still looks what you kind of expect.
Yeah. That's a remake as well, right?
Yeah, pretty much. There's now this one surprises some people because this was a popular series on the 3DS again, which is another code. It's more of a story based kind of like adventure kind of thing. So like if you enjoyed the story for this is more of a sequel from what I see. The one that kind of sticks out to me though is probably the Princess Peach game. That's probably the newest one. It looks very polished. I mean, it's probably not. I don't think I'll ever play it because I'm not too interested. It's like
Right.
another platformer style.
Yeah.
In the vein of kind of like there's a Wario platformers, there's Mario. This is Peach's take on it, which it seems like it's more. It's like a combination of Kirby and Mario from what it looks like, because
Yeah.
she kind of has like costumes, so it's like Kirby has different abilities, right?
Right.
What was I'm trying to find there's Tomb Raider collection. Not too interesting for me, but if you haven't played it, pretty good.
1, 2, and 3.
Detective-
Yeah, they're kind of
Yeah.
they're kind of dated at this point. I think they're done, but they looks like they
Yeah.
Nintendoized it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu, I've never been interested in it, but I think the movie was somewhat successful, and I think this is pretty good follow up to at least it'll sell. That's all I know. It'll sell.
All of them will sell.
Yeah. Trombone Champ. Actually, I'm surprisingly excited for this one just because it'll be a lot of fun with the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something called Battle Crush. Something Nate might be interested in, which is a battle royale top-down overview.
I missed that one.
It's a very short trailer.
Yeah.
I think if you didn't like was it Divine Knockout or you weren't interested, this is probably pretty similar.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just waiting for you to get to one, and I want to talk about.
Which one? I might not bring it up.
It's F-Zero 99.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That one?
This is the only one. Like I saw F-Zero, and I'm like, oh, are they going to update F-Zero? No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not
But
at all.
a lot of people are playing it and they like it. Like I wanted to play it this week too.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of like do you remember what Nate said that single player are prototypes for multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
this
kidding. I
is
mean,
like
this
one
is a
of his
perfect
things.
example, right?
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I think I'm on the fence about. Well, no, I'm not on the fence. I want a new F-Zero. I mean, I used to love that game. That was one of the games to me that stood out from Nintendo.
It was different than everything else they had.
At the time,
would
yeah,
say, yeah.
it was challenging, and it was fun to play with other people, and it was definitely different. And everybody I knew had it. Like if you had a Nintendo, you had F-Zero. That was just there's no arguing that. It's like you just had to have it. And I don't know. I mean, does it not sell well or?
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't.
Why would they not
usually sell well?
make? Why do we not have a F-Zero 2023? Right? Or
I think most people would even settle for the GameCube version, which was, I would say, the best version.
yeah.
Did you play that one, F-Zero GX?
I played it not on mine. I played it at a friend's house, very briefly, just because it was F-Zero. He's like, "You want to play F-Zero?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." But my fondness and my memories come from Super Nintendo and renting it at Blockbuster first to make sure it was this is something I want to spend $60 on. Yeah, because it was. I remember. I think it was $60 even back then. It wasn't 50. It was $60.
I think at certain points, I think N64 games were 80, weren't they? If I
Oh yeah,
recall?
$79.99. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what everybody complains about. It's like, go online and look at a 1996 like KB Toys or Toys R Us ad for Christmas. You're going to see like a bunch of Nintendo games that are like $49.99 up to $79.99. It's ridiculous.
That's thanks to cartridges, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was the one that I got a little excited to see that, and then I was like, come on, man. I'm sure it's fine, but it's not what I wanted.
I get it. No worries. We want a new F-Zero game. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty
Now.
unanimous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD remake,
yeah.
right? This was a 3DS game. On the 3DS, they also put the original Luigi's Mansion at the very end of the lifespan of the console.
Really?
Yeah, so now they're kind of doing the same thing here.
Huh.
So this is pretty good indication we're getting new hardware next year. That's what is confirmed.
And then pull in the store for the 3DS. Maybe there's something to that. Are we going to see a new 3DS store with this new console that is fully compatible and fully?
I'd imagine they probably include in their higher tier of online.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Prediction.
There's a couple. Was it League of Legends games? I'm not too interested in these. They seem smaller scale. Maybe if there's some reviews or some discussions about it, I'll reconsider. But not for me right now. It's too busy of a gaming season for those games, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree.
New WarioWare game were shown off, and they gave the release date, which is November 3rd.
Yep.
A game I like, but probably wouldn't buy nowadays. A couple of other notable things I'd say is they had they showed more indie games. They showed Dave the Diver, which is good to see. I think it'll do very well on Switch. Among Us new map. Yeah.
And,
Enough said.
And
at least for us.
Unicorn Overlord. That's the one I was talking about.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really rewatched it and I don't think it's too bad. It's Vanillaware. They made Dragon's Crown on PS3, right? Do you remember that one? So it's like this kind of art style.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like a beat 'em up. So that's what they're kind of known for. Personally for me, like I think that art is like so common nowadays that it doesn't stick out anymore.
Yeah. I mean, at first it was like nostalgic, and now it's when it becomes commonplace, it's not nostalgic. It just looks lazy.
But it looks like another take on a Fire Emblem style
game. Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty common on Switch. So I hear that the special edition to that's already sold out. So there's an audience for this.
Yep.
Not for me, but that's good to see for those that like it. Did you ever have any interest in the Paper Mario games?
No.
Okay.
At that time when those were popular, I mean, I know they still are, but I was heavily into PC, and then later went to Xbox. So
got it.
Yeah, there's a big chunk of Nintendo that I just like completely fell out of. So
I actually have this game on a GameCube, and I let someone borrow it, and I think it's lost. It's worth a lot now.
Yeah. Really?
Maybe it's worth. I think.
Oh man, I lost it. Sorry. I
lost
it for like $350 on eBay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeez.
But yeah, that's it for the Nintendo.
Yeah, that's
there's a lot of announcements, but it's all very small scale. I think, like I said, the takeaway is really it's remake season, and it's just kind of like not much.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you would expect from Nintendo when there's rumored to be a new console, on the horizon. Maybe as early as March, April of next year. So they don't want to throw a bunch out there. But this is it's also a good handful of games that could be backwards compatible with the new with the new console. So Speaking
of that, there is like Game Explain, which is normally a Nintendo kind of analysis channel and kind of mentioned that they saw like maybe the button prompts were from the newer Switch controller.
Oh, really?
But yeah, but I think it's kind of a
Oops.
stretch, potentially stretch,
Yeah.
because it's just because you know how they kind of have colors, or they have the gray buttons for the Switch,
Right.
but they were showing basically colored buttons, which basically they're saying the Switch 2 will have colored buttons potentially, but who knows? I mean,
Who knows? Well, they
okay.
did. They did show something at Gamescom, supposedly. Hey, there's a rumor of the week. They showed supposedly the new hardware, but this isn't confirmed at Gamescom. But
Mm,
nobody's talking about it because it's
yeah,
Nintendo. They will
yeah.
sue you out of existence if you say anything. So, we'll see. We'll see what that is. But yeah, let's say they are showing it at Gamescom. April. I'm saying April. It's just gonna pop out now. They're gonna announce it in January, 1st February. Here it is. Bam.
Let's do March because that's when the original Switch
It did,
released.
but I'm just gonna say it's gonna take a little bit longer.
Think so?
I think so. I think April
Okay.
is the key. But
All right.
I don't know. I'm not an insider. So is that for Nintendo? Are we good with that one?
Yeah, we're good with that one. I don't think we really need to rate it. I think our opinion's pretty set on it, right? So,
Yeah, I think if you're a huge Nintendo fan, you've got stuff to look forward to, but then you've got
and a
some.
new console to look forward to.
Yeah, really. I think it's more of, hey, maybe I'll play that while I'm waiting on the Switch 2. So, yeah. Now, Sony's state of play was a lot of it looked kind of the same thing. We got some remakes, we got some stuff that we've seen before, but you want to do the same thing? Let's go over each one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
let's go ahead.
All right, what do you want to start with?
Do you want to lead this one or do you want me to?
Sure, I can.
Okay.
First one I'm seeing is, of course, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And they did give a release date, did they not?
February.
February 29th,
Yep.
2024. Yeah. So this is huge. If you are a Final Fantasy fan, it is February 29th. However, I'm also seeing that it's not compatible with your save from the remake. Is that right?
I think
Did you read that?
there's some misinterpretations in that. Basically, you know how like you're leveled in the first game? Basically, you're not carrying over those levels, right? If you played the first game, you'll get something special in
Okay, but
Rebirth, but it's
it's not going to be like you're going to be able to just transfer your character over to.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay, I could
it's
see
not
that.
it's not like you're doing all these like fancy decision making in the first ones anyway. So
Yeah.
it's just basically a fresh game. Like
Yeah.
you'll start at level 1 again.
Well, I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan, so I'm assuming that you probably want that, right? Because there's changes to this that, I mean, it's not going to change the story, but it is basically it is a full remake. It's not just a
Yeah. This I think at this
sugarcoating
point it's original story with
yeah.
some fan service from the game.
Yeah.
Because if I understand correctly, now I didn't play Final Fantasy VII, but like
Yeah.
the main characters and villain were more like enemies in the first one. This one it seems like they're working together to an extent. So
Yeah.
there's like this complete change to the universe with. So for me it doesn't do much because I don't have that nostalgia feel for it.
Yeah, I don't
And
either.
they showed a lot of things like there's these things called like weapons within the game, which are like just big bosses, and like there's like a ruby weapon, there's an emerald weapon. That's how they kind of like name them. So I think they
Pokemon.
showed some of that off. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Uh, doesn't do much for me, but this feels like if you were looking at Xbox and you saw another Gears game, and you were tired
Yeah.
of it, this is what I would
Yeah.
be. This is my equivalent.
Well, and that's kind of my point, though. It seems like it seems like Square Enix knows how to kind of like stoke that fan fire,
Yeah,
Like, oh, you want this? Okay, well, here's a little bit, here's this little bit, and then okay, 10 years later, here it is. But at the same time, I mean, if it's just more Final Fantasy and it's good, great. I mean, more studios should do that because, again, we've said this before. We've said it. It's like if you just give the players what they want, they will buy it and they will like it and they will continue to buy it. Duh.
Yeah.
It's so simple. Okay, next up we got, of course, they this whole thing was just to promote Spider-Man 2. So we got a little bit more of that, and we got to see the map of the new area, which
nearly
is
twice as big.
Nearly twice as big, right. So you're not going to get to a bridge and then it go, bam, hit a invisible wall until you can turn around.
Yeah.
So we kind of figured that. We kind of knew that it was going to have to be bigger because this is exclusive to the PlayStation 5, not across.
And they're best selling, right? I think it's the 20 million seller from
the original one, 2018.
Yeah.
I bought it. I played the crap out of it. I played it on PS4. I thought it was great. At 30 frames per second. That's
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about that that we haven't already seen. I mean, it's coming out next month. Everybody's excited. It's probably going to be great.
Is this a Game of the Year contender, do you think?
I don't think so. Game of the Year usually falls into a game that it's got to have. There's a secret sauce to Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you exactly what it is because I don't know what it is. But a superhero game, I don't think has that secret sauce. And it's not a secret. It's not a sauce that you and I want or know. It's not like something that we have to have in a game to call it Game of the Year. It's something that these reviewers and these media outlets have to have in it to make it Game of the Year. I mean, for one, it can't be on Xbox. I mean, period.
Yeah.
It's that's one check, right? But I think it could be a nominated game. I haven't played it yet. It's not out. I hate to sound like somebody on Twitter, but
yeah.
With their track record and what we've seen so far, I could definitely say it would probably be nominated. I just don't think it would win. Not a superhero game. What do you think?
I mean, I honestly think I think it'll be a great game. Insomniac is top tier, like I'd say quadruple A studio, right?
Yeah.
Like they're top tier. I love Insomniac's like pedigree, but I feel like it's really more of the same, which I don't think necessarily gives it that edge in Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Like I feel like yes, Baldur's Gate 3 I think deserves at least
a nomination. Absolutely. Yeah.
But like it brings a lot more to at least a lot more changes than I would say Spider-Man does. And I think Spider-Man's, it caters to a more general audience, and Baldur's Gate 3 really kind of pushes kind of like the gaming experience further.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a genre and it does something different with none. These are sequels. These are both sequels, but
yeah,
Baldur's Gate 3 really doesn't feel like a sequel.
Yeah.
And it really is and it isn't. If you've never played the other games, all you need to know is Baldur's Gate is a city. You're good to go. That's all you need to know. Spider-Man, again, it's a sequel, but I can't imagine there's a lot in that game that's going to rely heavily on you playing the first one. It's Spider-Man. I mean, who doesn't know Spider-Man? So I guess we'll see those. Those will roll out into November, I believe, right? What's the cutoff for Game of the Year? December?
I think it's November. Like November or something.
Is it? I think it's November, like the end of November or something like that. So yeah, we'll find out. And,
just quick thing. So with Spider-Man, what kind of stuck out to you that you really liked about the Spider-Man show?
One thing that I really liked about it was that when you started playing Spider-Man, you were Spider-Man. You were you weren't playing Peter Parker and getting bit by a spider and going through this whole, origin story thing. I really respected them for just bypassing that altogether. You're an older, seasoned superhero. You're not learning how to shoot web. You're not learning, I really was worried that it was going to do that, That was one of the best things I think they did for that game. You do get, you do get levels up, or you do level up and you do get more ability and stuff like that. But right off the bat, you are Spider-Man. You know what you're doing. You know the city. Everybody knows you. You're running with it.
Yeah.
The other thing was just I think they handled the story really well. The having like multiple bad guys, I think in a video game it can work, right? In a movie it doesn't. Any superhero game movie, god dang, any superhero movie that has more than say 2 bad guys in it, it doesn't do as well. It may do well at the box office, but it's not as regarded as like, say Spider-Man 2.
3.
Right.
What was
Spider-Man
it?
3 had too much going on. Spider-Man 2, perfect. Right. And I think I think they did that well. You had these kind of vignettes of story of each bad guy, and very little did they interact and overlap. And I think they did a really good job with that. So it was enough to keep you engaged and enough to keep things exciting, but it wasn't like, oh crap, now I'm having to fight 3 of these guys at one time, and it wasn't. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I really liked about it. And of course, the traversal, the web slinging, all of that they got down. It was great. I mean, yeah. I don't really have any complaints with that at all. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I played it all the way through twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of rare, right? You don't play through
for a
many
game
games
like that.
twice.
Yeah, it's kind of rare. But I mean, I'm a Marvel fan. I'm a Spider-Man fan. If they do good, one of my favorite games ever is Spider-Man 2 on Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that game too.
Yeah, I mean that was like revolutionary at the time. It's like, wait a minute, I can swing from this building to the other end of Manhattan. Yeah, you can do that. I mean that just wasn't done before. So,
Did you ever have any issue with that original game freezing? I was playing it on GameCube and it froze a lot.
no, not really. I mean, it was a lower frame rate, obviously.
Yeah,
and the animations weren't great. But as far as like it freezing, no, not that I remember.
Okay.
Load times were atrocious, but other than that, I don't remember it like freezing up or anything. I mean,
So one thing I do notice
hard
with the
drive.
newer, oh yeah, that's true, hard drive. So yeah, regarding Spider-Man 2, the one thing I do notice that they added a parry, which I kind of appreciate. I know it's very simple, but it brings it a little bit more in line with maybe the Arkham games in a way.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Arkham nailed that melee fighting, and especially in the second one in Arkham City. It just never got old. But yeah, having that break and having that parry, yeah, it's Souls-like.
Yeah.
It's Spider-Man Souls-like now. No, but yeah, I agree that could really break up the monotony of the combat, which was something that I felt like in the first one that was not lacking, but it did get monotonous. It did get it did get a little.
I think that's one of
old.
the things I brought up a while ago.
Yeah.
I was trying to boot up the original Spider-Man game again, and turns out it's not on PS Plus anymore, so I couldn't play it.
Oh, I wonder why. Yeah. Gee.
We know why.
Yeah. Gotta buy it. I got it when it was like $20, I think. Yeah.
I got the PS4 bundle with the game, but I wasn't interested in playing it, so I just sold it afterwards.
Really?
Like I didn't even. I forget why I bought the PS4 or what I played first, but it wasn't Spider-Man. I just, for some reason, like at the time, I've already played the original Spider-Man 2 game on, like I played on GameCube.
Right.
So I was like, I'm not that interested in this one. I don't know why, but I mean, I told you I played it again earlier this year, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now being a fan of Spider-Man 2, did you play the entire game with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man outfit? Cause I did.
I I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, that one was.
I think I might have sold that game too. Unfortunately, I would reboot it.
Yeah.
Reboot it again. Yeah.
I'm currently playing Miles Morales on PC.
Okay.
And I know I'm gonna hate for this, but it's everything I liked about the first game is absent in this game.
It's because of that story too, right?
It-
Like the
well,
origin story is
I'm
there.
not. Yeah, the characters I'm not really jiving with, and yeah, he's still trying to figure everything out, and I don't want that in a superhero game. It's been done, and I feel like it in Spider-Man, he should have his game down by getting his own game. He should have it down, and I'm hoping in 2 he does. It's not going to be another, hey Petey, teach me how to swing. No, I not really enjoying that as much, even though I am playing it. I kind of play it, just periodically here and there, but yeah, it's not hitting me the same way.
Yeah, Miles Morales was a launch game for PS5, and I felt like it was just kind of Insomniac
Light one out.
testing the PS5, like development kit really, and then just releasing something to just get by.
Yeah, they kind of wanted to show off that SSD and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still a good game. Not, I think they did a good job with it. I just, don't want to play a 16-year-old Spider-Man. I want to play the, the smartass that swings around Manhattan and pisses off,
I'll
Jonah
probably try
Jameson.
Miles Morales sometime
Yeah.
soon before the second one release.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, let's get to. There is DLC for Resident Evil 4 called Separate Ways. I think we knew this though, right? This wasn't really. This wasn't the first time they've announced that.
I don't know actually. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I haven't been following them too much.
And also, let's see.
VR mode, right?
Right. VR2 mode comes out this winter, which is surprisingly free if you bought Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sony giving away something for free. That's news. That's a story right there.
They do have a very good relationship with Capcom right now.
Yeah.
Like they did that with Village as well. There's the VR for that for free as well if you buy Village.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about Dragon's Dogma 2.
VR.
Yeah, the VR. If something was going to make me buy a VR headset, that might be it. I don't know. I'll have to wait till that comes out because I love me some Dragon's Dogma. But yeah, you're going to get that free. And then they also showed, which again is not something new, they're just showing another gameplay trailer, but the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And you get kind of an idea of what this setup for the story is and who you're going to be playing and what you're going to be doing and that kind of thing. And I mean, the game looks good. And the developers have a good track record. This is from Massive, the guys that made Division. But yeah, I mean, every time I see it, it just looks more and more like a Far Cry game to me.
Yeah, this
What do
is
you
pretty
think?
much a Far Cry game to me.
Yeah.
Which I mean that means I am interested. I'll probably pick up
Yeah.
like Ubisoft Plus just to try it out,
Yeah, and I'm not saying that in a necessarily negative way. I'm just saying that it's they look to be playing it safe.
Yeah.
They look like it's okay. This is open world, so you're gonna have to light some fires, or you're gonna have to do whatever to open up the map. And
Yeah. I mean, Ubisoft kind of needs to win, so
yeah,
playing
they
it safe
need
is probably
something.
their best bet. Yeah.
Now, are you a fan of the movies at all, or?
I have yet to watch any of them.
Yeah,
So-
I saw the first one in the movie theater with the 3D, and I think I took somebody with. It's like $40 to see this movie, and they said, "Oh, look at all this money it made." I'm like, "Because it was $40 to go see it."
Yeah.
It was okay. It was not something that I thought. The 3D was really cool, but if you watch it again without the 3D, I mean, it's all right. It's an action movie,
Yeah.
It doesn't. This ain't Lord of the Rings, man. But
Did,
might
did
make
you
a good
buy a
video
3D
game.
TV or?
No, I did not.
Okay.
My dad bought a 3D TV, and we watched Mad Max
Okay,
in 3D.
that's a good choice.
And it was really cool. And then after that, I think, about 2 months later, he, it's like a gimmick. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, no, I did. I brought my, I think he had an Xbox 360. Yeah. So I brought Gears of War 3.
Ah.
And at the time, you could play Gears of War 3 on a 3D TV. And it was just almost vomit inducing. It was very not great. I mean, it was 3D. You were playing it in 3D.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it was just not great. But I digress. Let's move on from that because it's making me nauseous just thinking about it. And then we got some colors. There's some new colors for the PlayStation 5 that look like they're
fine.
kind of metallic-y looking. There's red, white, and silver. I look at the controllers for the PS5, and then I look at the controllers for the Xbox Series X, and say what you will about Xbox, but they're killing it on controllers, man. I mean, they just got some fantastic-looking controllers. That's that Sea of Thieves controller. Have you ever seen that? Okay. I tried really hard to get one of those. It was amazing. The 20th anniversary.
I had that one. I like that one.
Yeah. Did you put the black light on it? Because there's a hidden message.
I did not, but I know there's a message under the battery case. So
There is, but if you hold it under a black light, there is also a message on the controller itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So just stuff like that. I mean, that's just really cool. PlayStation's like, here's a blue one.
It's a start, right?
It's a
I feel like
I mean, just
even their was it the Spider-Man 2 one is just kind of like basic.
Yeah,
in a way. It's just like two colors.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They could have done something. I mean, okay, picture this: it's black where the black is. It's red where the red is, right? You got a blue touchpad, but then the like where the buttons are, where you hold it, that section of the controller is just embossed, like laser etched webbing. Like you can feel it, like it's part of the grip, right?
Yeah.
Done. Just, yeah. Or, and you got the spider in the middle of it. I mean, just, there you go. I thought it won like 30 seconds. What's wrong, Sony? Just, make better controller stuff. I don't know. I mean, that's a really good controller anyway. If you just have a white one or a black one, it's good. But, I mean, if
they've been really safe with their special
Yeah,
editions.
yeah,
I do
man,
want to
take
see
some-
more fancier ones.
Take some chances, because you can charge anything you want. People buy 'em. Anyway, so that was that took up like a minute. Just putting having those, and then we had we forgot about what this opened with. I totally forgot about
Baby
this.
steps.
Baby steps. What? Please explain to me what this is. Why would you start your showcase with
Baby steps, and it has like it doesn't visually it doesn't look great, and that's not.
I mean,
That's
that's
not
okay.
actually a bad thing,
No, but the game itself looks. I mean, this is like literally a walking simulator, right?
It's that Strand game.
Well, no, he didn't have any. He didn't look like he was
Yeah.
delivering anything. He was in overalls. It just, I don't know.
As an opener, this is not what I would have opened with.
No.
Yeah.
It was.
I think the game looks fine though. Like I like the humor. You know how they were talking about the grappling point. It's
Yeah,
just
that
kind
was-
of stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid exchange. It's
Right.
fine, but it's just like I don't see this being a great. If this, what would be a better opener for this? I wouldn't say Spider-Man necessarily.
I would have. I would have opened with Spider-Man because it's releasing in a couple of weeks.
But then no one else would watch the rest of it, right? That's why they put
Why
it
not?
in.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Because if they open with Spider-Man, what is at the end of it?
True.
Right. So that's what I would have done. Like, oh my God, here's this new Spider-Man stuff. So if this is the new Spider-Man stuff, what's at the end of it? I better watch the whole thing. And there you go, done. I'm for hire, Sony. You can hire me if you want to. Just saying, that's what I would have done. But yeah, this is not something I would have. It was humorous, but not something really showing off.
The power of the SSD, the power of the
SSD,
PS5.
walking.
Yeah.
One man. Anyway, so also PS4 on October 10th is getting Roblox. This seems to be huge. People are just freaking out about this. So
they've been missing the console for a while. This is no longer Xbox exclusive. So
yeah, and I think this is part of deal under the table is that Roblox had an issue with Sony's policies. Because Sony's policies for games are different from Xbox's. Xbox is a little bit more, yeah, you're cool. Sony is a little more strict on these things, and Roblox is.
It's a whole platform.
It's a platform, right? And it's a platform that a lot of young children play on. That I think that they're not comfortable with, not having as much control over it as they do some games. So. That's just what I've heard. It's just, just those things. But so yeah, I mean, if you get PS4 and you play Roblox, it's awesome. Next up, we've got a VR title called Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord, and this looked terrible. I'm sorry, it just looked bland and just.
It looks like a standard VR game right now.
It does.
Basically.
Yeah, it looks like the one you would put like with the. What was it called? The Google. You put your phone in the little goggle things.
The Daydream or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is the PSVR 2. I want to see better things from this.
It did at least. I did like that they showed off VR stuff right after the first showing, which is at least gives some confidence to people that they're not abandoning the platform,
they're not.
right?
They didn't buy something that's just going to get ditched. And this is probably a fun game. I mean, it's Ghostbusters. Who doesn't like Ghostbusters? But again, it just didn't look that great. And I just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I just want to see what the PSVR 2 can do.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So moving on. Helldivers 2. Now, this was not the best trailer. This is the
this is a gameplay trailer.
Yeah,
right?
it was
kind
a gameplay trailer with the developers going, "Hey, maybe I can use this grenade launcher. Let's see what it will do." Like you didn't just design it 4 months ago. It just seems kind of silly, but we did get gameplay, and this looks exactly like what I want out of Helldivers 2. It looks like Helldivers, just third person and better. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what everybody wanted. What did you think about
one
this?
thing was it the tone? Like like the tone of Helldivers in general. Like I think they captured it in the first couple trailers. It's kind of absent from this trailer.
Yeah, you get kind of a Warhammer vibe, from the first ones, like Warhammer and
like satire,
Starship
right?
Troopers, right?
Parody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I didn't get that feeling from this one. It seemed a little bit more. It's like I'm looking at a more serious game just from this trailer, but I know it's more of a like satire comedy, or feels like it from the original game, right?
Yeah. But it's kind of hard to tell in this one. Although I'm glad that they showed some actual gameplay. Of what you're going to be doing, and it looks very similar to
Starship Troopers.
The Starship Troopers, extraction. I mean, sorry,
when I saw the bug,
extermination,
that's the first thing I thought.
And even the gameplay, but there's some base building and stuff to that. This looked a little more focused, but it looks fun. I mean, it's and it's got a street.
It's not
date.
free to play, from what I could tell.
No,
you see pre-order, right?
Yeah,
so.
It is pre-order game, but we don't know. Do we know how much it is? I didn't even look it up. Did you look it up? How much is it?
I did not look it up. It says the pre-order was the pre-order? Is the pre-order live? Because there was like a specific date for it. It might
Oh,
be
you're
the
right. It's at the
22nd.
21st or 22nd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes live.
Well,
So
we'll
know-
see.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to be a $70 game. Do you?
I see
50.
40 or 50. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about
I
right.
think it's going to be a discount. But I know Nate's really excited about it.
Well, I think we're somewhat excited. Yeah.
My excitement's getting a little. I mean, now that I've seen it, yeah. I'm ready to play it. Foam Stars.
Open beta
Next.
soon, like in a week. I think I'll give the open beta a try and let you know.
Okay, yeah, do that. This is a PS5 exclusive, and yeah, so we're relying on you. Check it out.
Okay.
See, this is it's about foam. And Tales of Arise is getting an expansion in November. So
I'm excited enough for more gameplay. The story seems a little bit too generic for my taste. Like,
Really?
just this whole like
Chosen
character,
one.
chosen one,
Yeah.
outcast. Like, it kind of happened in the main story already, which is fine.
Yeah.
But like this seems like a really tacked on story for now. Like maybe there's more to the story, but
Yeah.
I'm more interested in more gameplay. I like the gameplay a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I actually played a demo of this, and I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And it was one of those. It's sometimes you play the game. It's like, hey, this is good. I kind of enjoyed this. Oh, look over there, squirrel, and then you just completely forget about it. This is one of those games where every time I see it, I'm like, hey, I should go back to that, and then I just completely forget and go do something else until somebody mentions it.
From my perspective, I'm not sure if you enjoy the story too much, but I did mention that there's some interesting themes to it, despite some more anime-esque storytelling. So
yeah, the demo was. It looked like it was setting up to be pretty much what I expected it to be, but it was good. I like the combat and the graph. It's a pretty game. Mm-hmm. It's very pretty. And I think that's it. Am I leaving anything out? It seems like we're missing something, but I guess that's pretty much it.
Let me take a look.
And we got Roblox, we got Ghostbusters, we got Eldovers 2.
There's Ghost Runner 2, which I mean it looks good.
Oh yeah. I played the demo of that on Steam.
I did too.
Yeah. I like it.
I like it. I don't know if I'd go through it anytime soon,
Yeah, I mean, if it's for sale, and I don't have anything to play, that's probably something that would be interesting.
It seems like a really you have to be in the zone kind of game because otherwise it's kind of like it's very fast paced and I'm not always in that mood. To be super precise and fast.
You feel like you got to take Adderall,
Yeah.
Just, be completely encased into of what's it called chamber, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So, let's see here. That's pretty much it so overall, what would you say about this state of play? What would you grade it?
I was disappointed initially. But I think if you like the two main titles they showed, it's probably a solid B minus. But otherwise, for me, it's probably like a C minus.
Yeah, I was gonna say a definite C for me, just a kind of okay, Spider-Man, we get it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. For now, in the context of what they showed, it was kind of equivalent to Nintendo, but Nintendo kind of has an excuse that their console is kind of ending their lifespan right now, or at the end of life, right?
Yeah.
Where Sony is kind of in the middle.
Yeah, it's
and we're you got to show us more stuff. What's coming after Spider-Man? What's coming after Rebirth? Right?
Yeah, that's a larger discussion because Sony just seems to be. I mean, they're showing off this new hardware, but yet they've had a really strong couple of years of games, really strong. And then now, any other given year, by this time we would know the three major titles that they have coming out the next year, or at least two. Yeah. And there's nothing. I can't. I hate to say this, but this is starting to look like the PS3 Sony. This is like we're the leader. We got everything. We're outselling everybody. You know, maybe we don't have to spend so much money on some of these games. You know, let's do a VR title of this, and then they're sitting back. They're taking a little bit of a loss next year, so that in 2025 they can start pumping for God of War open world or
more
Horizon
live service.
Exactly. Horizon Zero microtransaction.
Zero microtransaction.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? I mean, it's like the next iteration of these games are being worked on.
Phase 2 of Sony's
Right.
universe, kind of. Right?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So next year may look like for them, may look like what 2022 look like for Xbox. Of course, they'll get a pass because they're Sony, but you know, it may be a little dry and they may be relying heavily on those third-party titles, which is fine. I mean, if you have to do that, that's fine. But at least kind of show us, you know, past October, you know, we got a couple of titles here. Yeah, like we got Helldivers 2 in February, but, you know, still past that.
Yeah, actually, when they announced it was 24, I was pretty disappointed that Helldivers wasn't like.
I know. I was hoping that
earlier.
November. Yeah, November would have been perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway. All right. Well, let's talk about some news. Thick, what do you got this week that's important, going to be life-changing for us in a gaming perspective?
Well, so we did get, was it the iPhone 15 announcement earlier this week? I think it was Tuesday, right? And basically, it has some things to do with gaming. Basically, the iPhone 15 Pro has a new processor called the A17 Pro. They really like using Pro right now.
Yeah.
But this is the first time they said, was it Pro on the actual chipset that they're using, right?
You know, it kind of makes me wonder, is like, would you name something like, excuse me, I am a professional cell phone user. I can handle that. Like, what is, I don't think they know what Pro means.
Yeah, it's just, everyone likes using it at the end, right?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But
it's Pro or Ultra? I think I like Ultra a little bit more.
I like Ultra too, because that gives it, like, you know, this is the best. Like, you can't get any better than Ultra, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of was it Power Rangers? The Ultra.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, this is one now for someone that does not play mobile games. This actually spiked my interest. Yes. Resident Evil Village on your phone. That kind of starts to look a little game changey, maybe. What do you think? I know what you think, so why don't you say what you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think like this is kind of like a sleeping giant, kind of, right? Because you know, Apple hasn't really been focused on console-like games in a while, but now if this is kind of happening, like if a phone company were to do it, it'd probably be Apple. I think they set trends. Whether people like Apple or not, they have a big impact on what happens in just the cultural zeitgeist, right?
Yeah, being the market leader, it doesn't really matter what they do. It's definitely going to have, you know, an impact on mobile.
So I think earlier this year I made a report reporting that Mac might have PC games running on it soon, kind of almost like how games run on Linux, which is what Steam Deck uses.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's this big effort for at least Apple Silicon. All Apple devices basically use their own built in-house chip, so they can kind of massage the chip to work across, you know, different programs, right? So like if it works on iPhone, it should work on your Mac. So that, I think this is what it's ultimately leading up to.
Yeah, they want parity across all of, you know, the Mac platforms or devices. Sorry.
So I'm interested to see where they go with this. I think this will really disrupt the major console manufacturers. Sony might have stiff competition if because like to me, Sony was always kind of like, and Nintendo to an extent, they're both kind of like the Apple of the gaming space, right? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I know what you mean by that, just being like the market leader, but I wouldn't say
Yeah,
Sony is Apple.
they're
Apple,
not.
no, Sony doesn't innovate. I'm sorry, they just don't. They just
That's why
copy.
I say
Right.
Nintendo
Nintendo
is like,
more, yeah. They're more like, we don't care what you're doing. We're gonna do our own thing. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why I put those two kind of like similar to Apple.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so basically what they're saying is we're really looking, again, quote, we are really looking at these many generations of SoC, which is the silicon, right?
Yeah.
Architecture across phones, across iPad, and now on Macs. They're trying to make the unified platform and gaming platform in particular. This next platform will take iPhone for the next 4 to 5 years. So
Yeah. Wow.
I'm pretty interested to see how this develops and how it just kind of shakes things up, right? Or
Yeah.
what do you kind of expect out of it?
Well, I think that well, this is if you look at it at a corporate standpoint, right?
Hmm.
Xbox is always Microsoft themselves is like our competitor's not Sony. Our competitor is Google. Oh, they're Amazon. They're Apple. You know, the people that want to be in gaming that are not in gaming, right?
Yeah.
So that's who and that's where they're talking about the future. Not right now. They're
Yeah.
not in competition with Sony right now. They are,
Yeah.
but they're looking down the road, and this is what they're talking about. This is when you can why buy that expensive console when you already have the capabilities of playing those games right in your hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Microsoft knows this. That's why they want to do xCloud. That's why they want to go, oh, why buy that phone? Why buy Village on your phone when you can just pay for Game Pass and play it on your phone anyway, right? They're
Yeah.
already trying to do that because of this. We just didn't know it at the time. Because now, if Apple is really starting to push gaming or the iPhone as a platform that competes with consoles, then we all have a problem because that's going to disrupt the market, and it's going to disrupt how games are made and how they're marketed and who's getting what. So now is Apple going to start getting exclusives that from studios that we once got exclusives from, for Sony or Microsoft? That's a question. What if Bungie, makes a game that's only exclusive to iPhone? They can't.
Marathon.
Right. Well, I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
just using them as an example. They're owned
Yeah,
by
I know.
Sony, so they're not going to. But what if that happens? Which it can very well, do. They all want to make that mobile game because they make, Call of Duty mobile makes way more than Call of Duty on PlayStation. So, I don't know. It makes me, as someone that does not play mobile games or even have any, aspirations
Interest in it,
of
right?
or interest or aspiration or anything of playing anything on mobile, having controller support, that starts to look like a mobile device that you can actually play games on. Play games that I want to play, not
Yeah.
games made for mobile. Resident Evil's not made for mobile. And from what I'm seeing of the new Division game, is it Resurgence?
The Resurgence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people that are playing it say it's Division. It plays just like the PC console version. It's different in certain aspects because you're on mobile, but it plays the same way. And that's the difference. That's the separation between hardcore gamers and people that play on phones, is that, you actually have to shoot that guy. It's not going to auto aim for you, just little things like that. So, and I don't know. I don't know if that's scary or not. I don't know if that's exciting, or I'm not
I
sure
think it's
where I
pretty
want that
exciting. But because Apple is doing this too, Google or Samsung's, Qualcomm, they're going to try to follow suit. So it's going to be
to go. Yeah, they're gonna have
a
to.
lot of, yeah, they have to.
Yeah, Yeah, when Capcom goes, oh, Resident Evil 9 is on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, iPhone, Google,
not Android.
right?
Yeah,
Or whichever
they
one,
have to compete.
right? Yeah, exactly. They're going to have to compete, and then, but that's the problem, though. See, you see what I'm saying? That's when it starts to, when you see those games, and everybody knows, all the developers talk about it. Even Bethesda was like, dear God, we had a party when they said that we didn't have to make Starfield for PlayStation 5. Not because it's a PlayStation 5, just because it's another platform. They didn't have to do that. You know, they just have to make it for Xbox and PC because that's easier and it's better for the game, better for the studio, and, you know, just for everything. Now, when Ubisoft comes in and goes, okay, I need a new Assassin's Creed. It's going to be on Xbox. It's going to be on PlayStation. It's going to be on Nintendo. It's going to be on PC. It's going to be on iPhone. It's going to be on, you know, Google, Android. Yeah. It's going to be on, you know, your microwave. I don't know. You know, it's that puts a lot of pressure on those studios, and you're gonna see it. You're gonna feel it. You know, it's gonna be tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
So something's got to break. Something's got to change.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it might be consoles. I don't know. That's just me.
Maybe console, right? In the next 2 cycles.
Sony and I don't know about Sony so much. Some people have hinted about it, but I know Phil Spencer has said that it's like we can't be on console forever. It's not feasible to make a $500-$600 device that just plays games when PC is the largest platform on the planet. And, you know, now we know that phones, or if they start taking games seriously, then they've all got some competition.
Yeah.
So, wow. I got to hand it to Apple. You know, like I said, I've not been excited about anything Apple's done since Steve Jobs passed away. And here they are putting, you know, some top-rated games on a phone.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see what they actually look like.
Yeah, I do want to point out Ubisoft is there again. They're diving in head deep with at least Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, they always are. You know, NFTs. Yeah, we're gonna make NFT. You know, they're always out there to try to something. Yeah. So got to give them that.
Yeah.
All right. Was that it? Are we good with that?
Yeah, we got one more story. I think this is important as well.
Okay.
Basically, there's been a lot of talk about Unity this week.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And none of it's good.
None of it's good.
Oh, my God. This guy.
I call it the fiasco. Fee for what they're charging.
Good one.
So basically, they announced this week that effective January 1st, every new game install, they kind of clarified a little bit later that, but every new game install will basically cost a certain fee after after a game reaches a certain revenue threshold, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So the fee is associated with the first time install. It is not every install, is what they said.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like you can install it, then uninstall it, then reinstall it, then uninstall it and reinstall it.
Yeah, a lot of people were concerned about that. There's no fee for developers on subscription services. So if it was on Game Pass, Xbox is supposed to be responsible for a charge. Which, I mean, this sounds very messy, right?
It's very messy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the user of Unity engine any service at all.
Yeah, like speaking of developers having trouble, this is just another thing to add to that plate, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, like a lot of people, and rightfully so, like have like been angry about this. You know, we have the Rust developers saying that they regret not making their own game engine.
Yeah.
Was it the Cult of Lamb is threatening to just remove their game on January 1st.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a major talk with the development community this week.
Can you blame them though? Because one developer was like, "I don't want to have to sell my house if my game does well."
Yeah.
You know, if you're charged for each install and the game does great, they're gonna. It's just what this is the guy. Who's the guy in charge? I can't remember his name. I forgot.
Well, I think we should remember his name at this point because he seems to be kind of like taking Unity like kind of down a dark path.
Well, this is the guy that he used to work at EA. He was the one that had the meeting about making sure that the players were, and in the heat of battle,
I think
we're going to want to charge them a
Andrew
dollar,
something, right?
to reload your weapon. Yeah. So it's like his whole meeting was just like, oh well, they're not even going to think about it. They're in the heat of battle. Everything is going, and then you're out of ammo. What do you do? Well, you hit reload. Well, then it's going to come up and go, well, do you want to pay $1? Yes, and then you reload. They're not going to be thinking about that. We have the potential to make like $5,000 off this player, just for that alone. I mean,
yeah,
this guy is the epitome of what's wrong with gaming in general, and to come up with this, oh my God. And I know that they closed the offices because of death threats. I mean,
yeah, that happened later this week.
He is like he has like personal security now. I mean, it's like I don't know, man. I think this guy, I don't know. I mean, I guess he should write a book about how to do it wrong, how to make your entire customer base angry with one decision. And just write, or make a YouTube video about it. I mean, that is just the worst idea you could possibly have. We can only hope that this is reverted and then this is changed. I'm assuming that they're going to do that, don't you think? I mean, they can't do this.
Know.
I mean, they've got people now. They're like, there's developers saying that like their game is halfway finished. We're going to another engine. We can't possibly afford. That's
tough though.
Right,
that's
you can't
hard
afford
to
release that game on that engine if you're going to be charged for every install. I mean, it's just,
I'm wondering the calculations, like the hit developers have to take. Like I know people are saying they'll go bankrupt, but I think people are saying that because, that it's the message, right? That is the message. This is wrong.
Yeah.
Because, it's taking away from the people that make the game. It's kind of taking away from creativity, right? Like people that just want to make a game and then it becomes popular, you're getting punished for it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's like, if you buy the Unreal Engine is free. And you can use it for whatever you want to, basically.
Yeah.
But if you publish a game with it and you charge for that game, then just a percentage of that game goes to Epic.
Yeah.
And that's just like anything. If you make a movie and you go to Warner Brothers and go, hey, I want to make this movie, or I did make this movie, can you distribute it for me? And they're like, yeah, we love this movie. Okay, great. Well, then they get so much money of ticket sales, right? That's how it works. Yeah. That's how they make money, But if after you made it and distributed it and then they charged you for every ticket sold, like, I mean, like what?
Yeah.
Who does that? That doesn't even make any sense. It's like, oh, well, you got all this, you're getting all this money, but you're not actually getting the money. You've sold it. They get some money. You get some money. Everybody gets some money. And then Unity goes, oh, well, that's an install. We need some of that money as well. So you're like just handing out money to everybody.
I don't understand the fee thing, right? Because
it's just
like, how are you going to collect this? Like, is this automatically taken out? They said that there's exceptions for it, and then like you just have to message them. Like, it seems really messy.
It's really messy, and it's got to be one of those instances where somebody came to him and goes, we don't even know how to do this. How do you even do that? And like, we'll just make it
there's
happen.
so much logistics, and I think this is going to create like a back end. People are going to be annoyed to work on this too. I just don't see it.
I can see
through very well.
Yeah, I'm not going to see that Unity logo on mini games going forward.
Yeah.
Wow.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I do like using Unity. Like Unity is something like a lot of schools use to teach students how to program. So
yeah. I mean, it's a good tool. But then again, there's Unreal 5. You can download it
Unreal 5
from Epic game store and do, I've seen some people do some really cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
Especially like
But
remaking
do we want
older
Unreal
games.
5 to be like a monopoly in this
No,
too?
no,
I
you
know.
don't.
So,
Absolutely not. No,
yeah.
you want a competing engine.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're making a smaller game, it's probably more beneficial financially to license a game. I mean, license an engine to make that game with, right? Because for one thing, you have that name. Like if it says made with Unreal Engine 4 or whatever, then you know that you have an expectation of it having a certain amount of quality.
Yeah.
Same thing with Unity. Oh, well, they're using Unity, so I know, what's if you make your own game engine, that's fine too, but that's a lot of research and development. It's a lot of tools. It's a lot of, time and money.
Yeah. And we see game engines kind of affecting a lot of companies. Like Frostbite, I think, affected Anthem.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the Halo engine again? I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Slipstream.
Slipstream, yeah. Like causing issues with
that's
their
their
own development, right?
their in-house engine, and that's why it took so long. Then you had a 6 years hiatus from Halo because they wanted to make that engine. And and all the all the people that was like, oh my god, that was a nightmare. It's like we should have just gone Unreal. And we don't want every game engine being Unreal 5 because, dear God, playing anything on Unreal 5 right now, even on PC, is not stellar. It'll get there, but
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just terrible.
We'll see how it develops. I think the alternatives right now is probably Godot, and there's probably a couple other like indie friendly engines. So
yeah, or maybe somebody will step up and make a new one. That's
yeah, potentially.
Jeez. All right, what else you got for us this week?
That's it. That's all I got.
That was enough, wasn't it?
That's exhausting.
It's like here's an uppercut to gaming in general. Bam. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I got one positive way, one in a negative way, kind of. Yeah.
Well, I got one that's we'll see where this goes. Embracer Group keeps kind of coming up in our conversation.
Yeah.
And let me bring this story up because I don't want to misquote anybody, but I did bring this up previously on another episode about them having like a $2 billion deal with somebody, and I think it was Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yeah, right? Yeah.
And it fell through, and they it hurt them. But this is just to give you some reference. Embracer Group, they own. I just had it here. Some studios like
they closed
THQ.
Volition last week, right?
Yeah,
or 2 weeks ago?
THQ Nordic. Yeah, Koch Media, Saber Interactive, Crystal Dynamics, among other ones. And then they recently closed Volition because of their previous
deal
game
falling through, right?
No, but that and their previous game was just
that makes sense.
Terrible. Yeah, and of course now that it's come out, it's the tone of what's the game? It's just thick. What is it? Thank you. Saints Row was not their decision, and it was more Embracer Group's decision to make it a little more the way it is. I'm not gonna say more than that, but anyway. So these guys bought Gearbox, right? Gearbox is a publisher and a studio that makes Borderlands games. They've published a couple other games. They published, I think they published Remnants 2, right?
I believe so.
Something we were playing, right? So they are a publisher and a developer. Tina's Wonderlands, I played that. That was kind of fun. Tiny Tina.
That's on Humble Bundle right now for $12. Pretty good deal.
What, Tiny Tina?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I might go get that because that game's has some
the
actual
full
humor.
Edition too, the Chaotic Edition.
So really?
That's like the full version. Yeah.
Yeah, I might get that. I'm gonna get that and then of course play it later.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, I'll try to play that right now. So anyway, they are now seeking someone to buy Gearbox. So now they're selling them. And this was just 2 years ago. They bought them for $1.3 billion. So It's not looking good for Embracer Group. When they bought THQ, or a lot of the studios from THQ, a lot of people were kind of hopeful. And then when they bought the license to the Lord of the Rings, what was that, last year? But now I think they were banking on that $2 billion when they bought that, and they didn't get it. And now they're kind of swimming in it. But I'm trying to find you a quote from them instead of Tech Radar, which this story comes from.
Yeah.
But wow, they didn't quote anybody. So apparently they haven't said anything.
They haven't said anything yet.
No, they haven't said anything yet. I'll keep everybody posted on that. And I'm sure at some point they're gonna make some kind of announcement. But what do you think? I mean, okay, so they buy Gearbox 2 years ago for $1.3 billion. They're for sale. What would you pay for Gearbox right now?
I don't think they're like a $2 billion company.
No.
I mean, I feel like they're more like, yeah, 1 billion. I mean, not to discredit them completely, but they haven't really. They're kind of like a one-trick developer right now. I kind of want to see more from them. I know they publish other things, I think, under the Gearbox name. But
their last non-Borderlands game was what was it called? Battleborn, I believe.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like a MOBA. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was not a terrible game. I think it just came out right when Overwatch came out.
And then they did what was it? Randy made that tweet saying is like something against, or like comparing it to basically to Overwatch, or saying it was better, and that backfired on him.
Yeah, like it normally does. Like his leaving a flash drive of delicate corporate information, like sitting on a bar or something. Wow. But hey, he can do magic.
Yeah.
So he's a magician. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep. I wanted to talk about this because this is going to be something. This is like part 1 of a 40-part series of Embracer Group. We're gonna see how this is gonna go, right?
I mean, 2 years ago, where you were expecting good things for Embracer Group, right? Because I feel like there was a lot of good thing that could happen.
Yeah, because when THQ failed, it's like they were kind of like the net, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we got you. And no, I don't know. Saber Interactive seems to be one of the only ones that actually like put out stuff that sells. They're not, huge titles, but I mean,
they're consistent.
They're consistent
within their field.
Right.
Yeah.
And Crystal Dynamics is what are they working on?
I think they're working on another Tomb Raider, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Right now, like
I know they're helping the initiative over there at Microsoft, but
Support Studio.
God, I just never thought I'd say that about Crystal Dynamics, but whatever. Or Raven Software. So then here we are. They make levels for Call of Duty. So anyway, another kind of a bummer, but we'll see. I mean, this may be a good thing. Who knows? Maybe somebody might buy Gearbox flat out and they be a better company because of it. And Embracer Group will help the other remaining studios because they have more money on hand.
Yeah, I would hate this, despite like not being a huge fan of Randy. I would hate for the company to just like kind of disappear too.
Yeah, we never really want. We don't want like studios to just die off. It's not good for the industry. It's not good for them as individuals. So, but yeah, we'll keep a close eye on this and kind of report on that later. The other one that I had was really just a blurb. Starfield is getting DLSS, NVIDIA support, and mod support, of course, and upcoming patch. They haven't said when. But if you don't know right now, that Bethesda struck a deal with AMD, and FSR2 was the only option for super sampling on Starfield, which was kind of discerning since the market leader NVIDIA has way more cards out there than AMD does. mine being one of them, and I know yours as well.
Mine is AMD actually.
Oh, it is? I thought you had a
Yeah.
NVIDIA.
I actually have one, but I switched to AMD in 2020 because
Oh, okay.
I go back and forth actually.
Okay.
I had a 2060. I have a 6800 RX 6800 from
Yeah.
AMD right now, which
Oh,
is
okay. Okay.
yeah. It's been running okay, but I mean it's not as stable as I would like either in Starfield.
Yeah. Yeah. NVIDIA and AMD are kind of like the Xbox and PlayStation of the PC
Yeah,
GPUs.
pretty much.
Even though they don't normally do things like this. This is kind of like this reminds me sort of when the Avengers came out and they get Spider-Man on PlayStation, but only on PlayStation, right? So
Yeah.
you've got two competing GPUs out there, and one gets support and the other one doesn't. That just doesn't normally happen in the PC world, and I think it probably was a timed kind of exclusive, obviously, since they're now incorporating DLSS into Starfield, and hopefully that will help with the frame rate because they ain't great. I don't know. Have you played this on PC at all? Are you playing it on PC? I thought you were playing it on Xbox. Okay.
I played on all of it so far.
Okay.
I do notice the drops. It's just not super stable overall.
Yeah.
But like I said, I turned off the super sampling.
Yeah. Yeah. I play around with it a little bit. I've found that with FSR2 on or off, it doesn't really help as much in some areas. So it's kind of just like whatever the average is, I'll just leave it. Right now, I think I've got it off. I think I don't have anything running because it doesn't really, it looks sharper and runs exactly the same. So why would you use it? Yeah.
I think FSR is algorithm based, so it's more software based, where DLSS is more hardware encoded.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why there's that difference.
Well, that's why they wanted it, because it's like kind of like their FreeSync for monitors. It's called FreeSync because it's free. They want it to work with any GPU or any once it's applied
that's part
to
of
any
AMD's
monitor.
brand, right? Like
Right,
it's open source, everybody can use it.
Right.
Where NVIDIA is like, oh, only our stuff can do it. Which I mean, it works better for them. They're kind of like Apple too, right? I mean, and their stocks kind of
in
show
a way,
too.
yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that while we're on the subject, my next GPU, I'm pretty sure is going to be an AMD. I mean, nothing against NVIDIA, but just going from a 3000 series to a 4000 series, that there's not a jump there that warrants the price tag.
Price, yeah.
Especially if you're paying $900 for a GPU and you're getting the same amount of VRAM on it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm going to AMD and doubling my VRAM for that price. So, but I don't feel the need to do any of that now, since my 3060 Ti runs everything else pretty good.
I think that will last for a good while.
I think so too, and so your 6800 probably will too.
Yeah.
It's funny. If we were in close to the same time zone, we could put both of those PCs together with the same settings and see what frame rates we get.
Oh yeah.
from those two GPUs and
I think we have the same CPU too, if I recall. It's 5600, right?
Yeah, I've got a 5600X. Yeah. So that would be cool. That'd be interesting to do. But your frame rates are probably better than mine.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'd have to turn
card?
on a. Yeah, I'd have to turn on a. Like how people do benchmarks and like they always have like a certain number. I have never met a lot of those numbers, and it could be something on my side. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I invest in too cheap memory. I don't know.
Yeah, those are not very consistent for me either. When I look up, like, the only thing that is consistent is, and I cannot remember the website, but you can basically put in your parameters for your PC, the CPU, the speed of your RAM, your GPU, and then put in a game, and it will tell you what to expect frame rate wise from that game. And I found that it is really close. It is like super close. And I used this for when I was ordering my PC. I remember going to Reddit, and I went to PC Gaming, and I was like, "Hey, look, this is what I'm getting. I'm coming from Xbox Series X, and I'm playing a lot of Destiny 2, and I'm concerned that I don't want to spend this money on something and get lower performance than what I'm getting out of an Xbox Series X, because that would be, it would be switching to PC, but it would be degrading my experience." And one guy was put in those parameters on this website and then sent this back to me. It's like, it's going to blow your mind. Oh. and then he just had the link, and I'm like, what is this? And I clicked on it. I'm like, oh my God. So I've used that before in other games to have those parameters and it's a lot closer. It's a lot closer than what you see on YouTube. With Digital Foundry and things like that. It's like some of the stuff that they are doing. It's like, okay, with this GPU and at 1440 and da. Oh, wow. Hit my mic again. We're getting like 38. And I'm like, I'm getting like 80. What's going on there? So I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know how consistent those are watching those videos on those things.
Yeah. But I mean, as long as it's playable for me, it's fine.
It's playable. It's playable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all. That's it for the news. That's all we have this week.
We didn't have any rumors this week, really. Kind of light this week. So
very light. Very, very light. I think it's time to get out of here.
Yeah.
And Thick, I know you got one. Just lay it on us.
Do you want me to do it first, or you want to?
No, you
let us know.
You do yours first.
Okay. So my quote today. It's going to be a little bit lighthearted, but try to guess where it's from. Sometimes they have to have a salad. They can't have ice cream every night.
Oh, that's true. What's
that? It's from a Diablo 4 interview, Rod Ferguson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Now I don't like. Now
you don't like it?
No, I don't like it now. No. I think I've told you this, but I heard a guy talk about. He was an actor. He was in Las Vegas, and he was getting in an elevator, and Gene Simmons from Kiss, you have to say that, it's trademark, was getting in an elevator, and he had this woman with him, and he said it didn't look like a woman he would think Gene Simmons would be with, right? So he kind of gave him a look, and Gene Simmons turned around and goes, "Hey man, I get steak every night. Sometimes you just want a cheeseburger." It's like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever, Gene.
Yeah.
Okay. If you listen to the audio version of podcast, then you're probably listening to this now. But if you don't, go to Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, you can find us there. And of course, we're on YouTube. We're saying hi. Leave a comment below. Right. Yeah, leave a comment below. Like our friend from Switzerland or Sweden, wherever he's from. Milo, yeah. And drop us a question, give us a comment, give us an insult. We don't care. Just let us know you're out there, and we're just not floating around in space on a satellite.
Yeah, we're not in Starfield all the time.
Right, in a loading screen. All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.